Sabbath is more than likely one of the oldest spiritual disciplines. However, the Sabbath seems to be one of the most misunderstood and one of the spiritual disciplines that seems the hardest to participate in. There are two verses in scriptures that I want to share with you. The first is going to come from the Old Testament, or the first half of the Bible. And the second verse comes from Jesus in the New Testament, the second half of the Bible. Jesus, in the second verse, is pointing out the importance of the Sabbath and why. He says this, "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all of your work. But the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter or your male servant or your female servant or your livestock or your sojourner who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. And he said to them, the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. So the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath." The command to observe the Sabbath in Exodus chapter 20 points to the reality that God, Yahweh in these verses, spent an entire day resting after the world's creation. That divine rest on the seventh day of creation has been made clear that Yahweh is not a workaholic, that he's not anxious about the full functioning of creation, that he's not anxious about the well-being of creation, and that it depends on him. According to Brian C. Babcock, in Mark 2:27, Jesus utters the phrase, "The Sabbath was made for man and not man for the Sabbath." This phrase brings two primary points into focus. First, the Sabbath regulations, as interpreted by the Pharisees, had lost the intent of the Sabbath prescribed in the Old Testament. Therefore, the rules they observed were human-made, not God-made, and able to be broken. Second, the Sabbath proclaimed at creation was intended to serve mankind as a holy day, giving blessing and observing God's rest and restoration. There seems to be a lot of disagreement with the church fathers on which followers of Jesus should actually practice the day of Sabbath. Just so we know what we mean by Sabbath, biblical Sabbath is a 24-hour block of time in which we stop work, we rest, and think about the things of God. So the disagreements with the church fathers on whether or not we as Christians should practice this or not is understandable. For people like Augustine, the Sabbath is something Christians should observe, while people like Ignatius of Antioch concluded that Christianity should not participate in the Exodus command of the Sabbath, as it did not differentiate between Christianity and Judaism. Yet, for me, remembering the Sabbath, as well as practicing the Sabbath, is vitally important. It is why I believe followers of Jesus should still observe the Sabbath. Why? Well, because for me, it is a day to remember all that God has done for me and rest in the reality that he is ultimately in control of my life. It allows me to shift from a focus of me to a focus of him. So, as we close, what are some things you don't really understand about practicing the Sabbath? Do you find it hard just to take a day of rest and recovery in the things of him? What are some things you can do to ensure that you take a day to just sit and to ponder and to rest in the things of God?